Wonderful Tuesday. Welcome to another day talking politics live on Channels Television. Welcome to Political Paradigm. I'm Terry Ikumi. Today we're outside the studio to speak with a former presidential aspirant and director of communications of the Atiku Okowa Presidential Campaign Council, Mr. Chief Dele. Momodu. Chief does something, that's what I always want to say. Welcome to Political Paradigm.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's been long in coming.
Oh, it's been long.
Finally, we are here today.
We will milk you today.
Oh, no, I'm all ready for you. I told you that when I'm ready, I'm ready.
I'd like to first of all begin by saying happy 25th anniversary to you and the PDP. You may not have been that long in the PDP, but 25 years is something. So happy anniversary to the PDP.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I mean, I wasn't a part of PDP at that time. I joined just barely 2 years ago, but I've really learned a lot in these last 2 years.
So I like to believe that 25 years of the People's Democratic Party, even though you say you've only been there for just about 2 years, now this is not the state of the party you expected after 25 years. I like to believe that.
No, life is full of ups and downs, and I'm someone who believes so much that you can't have everything in life. If you are spiritual, you will know that you can have everything in life. God does not give you everything. So you go up, you come down, and investors will tell you that the best time to invest is when the stocks seem to be very weak, because ultimately they will come back. And when they come back, they come with a bang. PDP will come back. There are problems, there are challenges. We've had challenges in the past, even before I joined the party. And the challenges that you thought would collapse the party, challenges that you thought, okay, the end has come finally. But the party was able to rise above it, and I believe we're going to rise above the present challenges. More so when the insects that are destroying the vegetable are part of the vegetable. They are insiders, those who are causing problems within the party. They are internal people. In the past, when PDP had problems, those who were aggrieved left. They didn't destroy the party. That's why they were able to come back to the party. So, but the ones who are fighting the party currently are so embittered and enraged. They hate the party, yet they love the party, and they cannot quit the party. So they are ready to remain in there and continue to cause problems. And they have more than enough people who are helping them. They have their foot soldiers. They understand. They have their moles. And that's what they are doing, that we will destroy this. We won't leave this party, but we will destroy this party. And my question is, if you are tired of a marriage, please, why don't you go your separate ways peacefully?
You think that this is intentional?
Oh, it's all...
that PDP members intentionally want to destroy the party?
That is it.
To what end?
Okay, why would a party say, why would any man, any political member, okay, say, I'm not going to quit the party, but I'm going to work for the other party? It doesn't make sense.
There was a number of governors who said that, but let's look at, as we build up into the details of this situation in the People's Democratic Party. We've seen internal party crisis in the past, and we've seen them resolved. It does seem as though this is not... will not be resolved easily. And the reason is it's lingered for a while. And many who have followed this say that it's the ambition of two men that have put the party in this position where they find themselves. In fact, they say that it's made the ruling party perhaps too comfortable as it is now. So if you look at this whole situation, who takes responsibility for the crisis in the People's Democratic Party as it is now?
Let me tell you something. I'm a media man, and I'm also a student of history. The crisis in APC quadruples the crisis in PDP. But because the principal actors in PDP are so volatile and uncontrollable and inconsolable, they are ready to pull down the roof and the house. In PDP today, how many people are fighting? Principally one man, Nyesom Wike, one man, but controlling the mindset of not just PDP members, but external citizens of Nigeria. Oh, I'm fighting for the South. It's a very convenient excuse. Which South? If you were made the running mate to our candidate, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, will you be fighting for the South? When our party primary was thrown open and all of us were allowed to buy forms for the presidential election candidacy, why did you agree to buy? Why didn't you protest? Who were the people who set up the committee, the panel that took the decision that it should be thrown open? It's been controlling, manipulating. You see, there are control freaks that once you don't do what they want, everything must collapse. And that is who Wike is, unfortunately. He's a man that I admire so much in terms of very smart, very intelligent, very hardworking, and very tenacious. If he says he's going to do something, he's going to do it. I wish he would continue to channel his energy towards that positivity. You see, what he has embarked on now will also ultimately be his albatross. Because now, the people in APC are watching. They are not going to allow him to come into their own party and do what he's doing in PDP. And I know that he is comfortable doing what he is doing. And ultimately, he will begin to act as a co-president. He's not somebody that you can easily suppress. He's going to act as co-president to Tinubu. If Tinubu remains in power after the court decides, that's when you will see what will happen. You see, because you cannot have two people who have that dictatorial tendencies. If you give them the chance.
You think that the president and Nyesom Wike have dictatorial tendencies?
Anybody who knows Tinubu knows that Tinubu controls everything. He's been controlling Lagos for 24 years. He's my big brother. It's not an abuse to say somebody, he is a man who is hands-on. So if you use the word, in quote, dictatorial, you won't be wrong. If anybody has controlled the state for 24 years unchallenged, shuffles who becomes governor, who does not become governor. I mean, that's
so he's Wike.
It will be positive.
So he's Wike hands-on.
That's what Wike is doing. Do you think in Rivers State right now that the governor can do anything without Wike? I mean, it's not possible.
There are some things that he said with regards to the position. His position, one, is he never wanted to be vice president.
It is not true.
Secondly, he's also said that the agreement among the governors, Nigerian Governors Forum and the PDP Governors Forum at the time, was that power should go to the South.
It is not
so
true.
he's maintaining his stance that the Constitution was breached of the People's Democratic Party.
A man on the night of our primary went on stage voluntarily. Nobody forced him. And he said, whosoever becomes our candidate tonight, simple English, I will support, I will campaign, I will work for our candidate if you don't choose me. So,
following what Wike has done, and he's concerned that Atiku's dogs, as he likes to put them, are always barking at him. The concern as to your statement, because you were really quick with the statement following the interview with Sean, when do you not think that your statement is inflammatory?
No, nobody backs more than Wike. And my decision to write was not on behalf of PDP. I'm not a spokesperson for PDP. Dele is in charge of that. And I don't think Dele has taken him on. My own is personal. It's between us. It's between the two of us. He's insulted me a couple of times. And so every opportunity, whenever he refers to me, either directly or indirectly, I will respond. I told him that, you see, where I come from, we have a culture of respect. Respect begets respect. I'm older than him. He used to tell me that I was the friend of his boss, Chibukelutimi Amechi. And he used to watch us when he was chief of staff. So you can imagine chief of staff looking at the friend of his boss, the governor. And then so when did we get to the level where on television you mention me, say one Dele Momodu? No, I won't take it. I'm a global citizen. I've worked very hard to get to where I am today. You cannot make money from politics and then begin to disrespect all your elders.
Was that way it got personal? Because I also remember that he described you as a presidential aspirant
Who became
a spokesperson to a presidential candidate.
You see, there is dignity in labor. What I did for PDP was very professional. It's within my professional competence. I'm nobody's errand boy, and he knows it. No errand boy can walk away from Wike's money. No. If I was an errand boy, I would be there with him till today. Like even former ministers, former governors who are following him. But he knows I'm not one, and that infuriates him. You know, a control freak wants to control everybody. And once you run against the norm, then you become a major enemy. I'm not his enemy. I've told you, I love him. I love his work. He has only one problem: anger management. He needs to go to school for it. He needs help for it, because there are people he cannot rubbish in Nigeria. I know that for a fact. Nigerians we are among the greatest human beings on earth. Brilliant, energetic, forward-looking, and then one politician who made money in politics, who has never done any business in his life. Will he insult us? No.
Chief Momodu, many listening to you would want to raise one particular question. You've been 2 years in the PDP. Wike has been in the PDP from the day it was formed. He boasts of his contributions to the PDP, from electoral value to financial support. So when he talks about loyalty to the party, he points perhaps to you, but that's why he probably refers to you as one Dele Momodu. So with regard to how long you've been in the PDP and the commitments you've made to the PDP, would you rubbish all he's done over the years?
Even as I'm speaking to you now, I've been telling you his positive sides. I'm a media person, I'm a PR man. I have not dismissed Wike totally. But I'm saying, you see, what shall we profit a man who claims to have been very loyal to a party, and you are also the one that will bring the party down? That's number one. Number two, PDP made Wike who he is. He did not make PDP. Whether he was there from day one or not, at what level?
You know, in your statements reacting to that interview, you described it as arrogant lies. You said that a lot of lies were contained in that statement. So let's look at what you know perhaps about him and that interview, which you believe is full of lies. So without holding anything back, what exactly was it that he said that was not true?
He said there was an agreement that power will shift to the south. No, there was none. Our party primary was thrown open. And that's why someone like me was able to buy a form.
But what about the position of the governors at the time that power should shift?
The position of the governors is between the governors, even in APC. You understand? People still challenge Tinubu. Tinubu, it was not a free ride for him. People challenged him. The former Senate president came out to run against him. A gentleman's agreement is different from a constitutional. And there was nothing in our constitution that insisted that power must go to the south. That's number one. Number two, and most people don't remember this, because some people deliberately try to confuse our people. PDP has been very fair to the south. PDP had President Obasanjo for 8 years. PDP had President Goodluck Jonathan for 5 years. That's 13 years. Out of 24 years, we've had 13 years of PDP presidents from the south. If President Jonathan had won in 2015, that would have made it 17 years. The North did not complain. Look, if you are not logical, you can't be my friend. I was a student of logic at the University of Ife. I studied logic at the elementary level in the university. And till today, whatever I'm telling you must be logical. If PDP gave us in the South an opportunity to have 17 years, out of which we got 13. So how can one man come and say it is law? Let me tell you. The reason he was saying that was that he knew that in the South there would be nobody to challenge him. So it was very convenient to say, I'm fighting for this. Look, when Alhaji Atiku Abubakar said if power is ceded to the Southeast, if they give it to the Southeast, that it will not run. So why didn't he jump at it? Alhaji Atiku Abubakar was ready to, if the power, those who are fighting South, if you say it is going to the Southeast, he will support them. Why didn't he do that?
But seeing the outcome of the elections now, do you look back and say perhaps Wike could have won this election if he was a candidate of the party? 1
million Wikes could not have. APC was determined to remain in power. APC has been a very useless political party in Nigeria. Everybody knows it. Even now, APC members themselves, Adam Soshomole, my great Egbon and everybody, they are all saying that they inherited a useless legacy from their former president. Openly. You have not seen that? That's what me saying it now. So it tells you that what people were saying was right, was true, but that APC was useless. And that's one of the reasons I joined PDP. That, okay, maybe PDP would have launched their own lessons, so let's go to a party who had a fall. Because they lost the election because of some certain infractions at the time, and that, let me go to that party. We can rebuild such a party. APC did not deserve to come back. APC should not come back in any reasonable society. And I am still insisting that that is why they had to use every power of coercion. That was not an election. And now I'm not even talking about Tinubu now. INEC was single-handedly responsible for the worst election in the history of Nigeria. The closest to it would be the Shagari election of 1983. It means we have not made any progress since then. Yakubu was running, was in a race as if he was, you know, on the field, trying to win Olympic medal. How do you do an election with so many irregularities and people call your attention to it and you cannot take 1-2 extra weeks to even listen to them and examine their complaints? It was wrong. We knew the night he was going to declare. We knew that it was going to happen that night. Everybody knew it. Because he was racing against time. It was as if somebody was just goading him on and beating him. Yakubu, he must do this thing tonight. Don't let it pass tonight.
Was it the process of the elections or the announcements that was a concern?
The process. If the process is faulty, the announcement will be faulty.
Which aspect of the process?
Oh, too many. Too many.
You know, this has been disputed. Good thing it's in the court.
Look, I can't go into the details again.
Absolutely.
Because I'll be dissipating my energy on what is already before. So I'm not a judge. But everybody, including the international community, if they like, they can abuse them. That they are free. That's our tradition. We don't accept truth sometimes. But the truth is that, look at Tinubu won without a lot of those infractions. I will be the first to advise my principal to congratulate. In 2019, when they declared Buhari against Atiku, I went immediately on Twitter and said, Atiku should congratulate him. Because I'm a fair man. I know no election will be perfect. But this one was a sham, totally shambolic. This was not an election.
No, let's stay with the issue of your party politics. We'll come to INEC again, but...
you ran away from INEC now. You are running through...
We're actually talking about your party because...
No, my party... What is it about my party? Yeah. I've told you that APC has a worse situation than PDP. And you are talking about my party because Wike is so vocal and he had enough money to hold press conferences every day.
I think you have an opportunity now as well. Do you fault his acceptance of the ministerial appointment of the agency?
No, that's none of my business. I told you I'm a Democrat. He's free, he's an adult. You can go anywhere. And whatever he sees there, whether good or bad, that is his business. I don't have any problem with that.
So are you also asking that your party should not sanction him for this? Because your party is in court.
I don't have the power.
No, I'm asking your opinion because...
If I had power, I would have fired him long ago.
Why?
such an unruly person who wants to destroy our party? Oh, no, no, no. One individual cannot hold everybody to ransom. If we fought the military, we fought the military in this country. Tinubu was part of those who fought the military in this country. And then you will not allow a civilian dictatorship. No!
Well, Wike boasts of being loyal to your party.
Look, loyalty based on what?
Just a second. Now, he's probably pointing to your principal, who has moved from PDP to APC to PDP to APC. So when you talk about loyalty to the party, what sounds more loyal?
Loyalty is about being consistently reasonable. If Atiku is angry or disagrees with you, he goes to court. He obeys the rule of law. Have you ever heard that Atiku gathered thugs in any room, anywhere, ever? Loyalty is not about perpetually plotting evil against your own party. Loyalty is, oh, I'm not comfortable with Senator Iyorchia. I disagree with him. I don't like him. I don't like his face. I leave the party to him. I go away. That is more honorable. You say you are a Christian, you go to court, you can't forgive anybody, even if you can't forget.
Well, you say if you had your way, you would kick him out.
Oh, I'll fire him. No, I won't waste 1 minute. But I don't have the power. So
I listened to former Governor Fayose saying that the PDP cannot afford to lose Nyesom Wike.
He's one of his guys, so don't let's go there. He's one of his guys.
But look at the PDP as it stands now. One of the reasons why those comments would come up would be that the PDP anticipates a possible rerun, or if you anticipate a rerun and it does turn out to be the pronouncement of a court, how are you going to approach an election without your house in order? And someone like Wike, whom they consider, specifically Fayose considers to be perhaps one of the most important members of your party.
Okay. All the talk about Wike is about cash. Stupendous cash. That's all. Those who will determine the outcome of a rerun, if there is a rerun, they won't be PDP. If it's a fight between, don't forget that if it is a fight between Atiku and Tinubu, majority of the voters, the young voters, they don't belong to either APC or PDP. That's the mistake we make. We always arrogate to ourselves, party. How many members, even how many people voted the so-called one that they declared, Yakubu's result? How many people voted? I am telling you, Nigerians who are suffering right now, you think if there is a rerun, they will still go and vote for APC? We will mobilize people to come out.
You think they'll vote?
Party lines.
You think they'll vote for the PDP?
Oh, definitely. If you have to choose now, at least we've had, God is so merciful. We've had an opportunity to see the mess that APC created under Buhari, and we can see the continuation of it. They promised us that they will continue from where, and they haven't disappointed anybody. In fact, what is surprising is that it happened too quickly.
So where does the Labour Party come in all this? Because you sound as though the PDP is the alternative to the APC.
I said if.
And I'm just saying, you're a party man, so it's understandable why you would believe that they would vote for your party. But when you look at the outcome of the elections, does it not tell you that there is another force which may be an alternative? And if a rerun does happen, why would Nigerians go for the PDP, which has had its time in office, and the APC, which has had its time in the office, and then skip the Labour Party that has not? And they have somebody whom they consider to be one who is forthright.
In 2019, I supported Atiku and Peter Obi. We're all friends. Tinubu, everybody. We're all friends. We're not enemies. We're not fighting. It's not a personal fight. It's a fight of principle. What I said, and I'll repeat, is that if the rerun is between Atiku and Tinubu, because what is likely to happen is that it will be a rerun between only two candidates. I don't know whether it will be Peter Obi or it will be Atiku. But if it is Atiku, I am telling you, and that's the only person I can speak for, I'm not supposed to be a spokesperson for Labour Party. So If it's Atiku, I can tell you this is the most experienced, the most exposed, the most sober. Nigeria this time needs sobriety. You need a very sober leader, a world statesman, a global citizen, a man who has managed people and resources. He has managed his business extremely well. That is one of the biggest employers of labor in Nigeria. Most people will prefer an Atiku. And even in the last election, I am sure that if you look at the demographics, anywhere in the world, including even the US, that we all like to make reference to, race and ethnicity are key factors. Religion, they are key factors. You can see that APC did not do well in South-South, APC did not do well in Southeast, and APC only struggled in the Southwest. And some of those who forced APC on us to come back, like Nasir El-Rufai, my friend and brother, someone whose brain I respect so much, I was shocked when he carried this battle on his head. See what they've done to him already. So they are not going to have people like that this time.
Well, you don't think that he should be reconsidered by the Senate?
It's none of my business. We don't recognize that we have a legitimate government as of today. We don't. When that time comes, when you get to the bridge, then, like I said, I'm a Democrat. I don't have anything, even Wike, I don't have anything against him. They confirmed him. We all clap for him.
Okay, but you want him out of the party. And then it raises a question. The leadership of your party doesn't seem proactive enough to address this matter. I recall that the one meeting that seemed like a reconciliation was the one held in Bauchi at the behest of the governor of Bauchi State. But then some are concerned as to whether or not your party has the capability to handle this matter. I mean, you listen to a member of the party, the FCT minister, say that he dares anyone. And this is something he's been saying for a number of times, and he's also had to go to court on this matter. What is the problem with the leadership of the party to either take action either against him or at least a reconciliatory move? What is going on with the leadership of your party? Are you concerned?
If you talk about reconciliation, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar's middle name should be peace and reconciliation. He traveled all the way to London to meet with Wike and his friends, appeal to them. They had dinner together. You see, a former president, whose name I can't mention on camera, told me, he said, Wike is inconsolable. That was where I got that word from. He said, nobody can, because Wike already saw himself as the president, the next president of Nigeria. He will never forgive a Governor Tambuwa, for example, that stepped down for my principal. Wike's anger is personal to him. See how many people he's wasted in the process. 3 governors who had senatorial ambitions.
You blame him for that?
Wait now. Enugu, Benue, and Abia State. They were like suicide bombers. That's why, in quote, I call them suicide bombers. Suicide bombers are people who are ready to die for someone else's cause. This cause is only Wike's.
The question was more about the leadership of the party and what it is doing to reconcile.
I've told you, I said they've tried everything possible to reconcile with him. But the man is inconsolable.
Well, let's look at this new leadership.
Which new leadership?
The new leadership of the PDP after.
There is no new leadership. What we have is a caretaker committee.
Yeah, but it still runs the affairs.
Constitutionally, after 3 months, they even become it lapses.
So they're handicapped as it stands.
So they're handicapped, and they can't take him on because he was hands-on on the party. So they are members of the party. They were part of the party. Those of us who can talk are professionals, technocrats. If you kick me out of the party tomorrow, I'm already back at ovation. I'm working. I have a job. I'm a part-time politician. I'm not a full-time, but a career politician cannot say the things I'm saying.
So what about these other governors that were on the same side, the G5s, as I like to call it, the G5 as they're fondly called? Why is the focus on Wike? What reconciliatory moves have been made to consider those other governors, former governors? And perhaps
maybe you didn't follow our campaign. Alhaji Atiku Abubakar went to Enugu. He met with the governor of Enugu at that time. He went to Abia, he reached out. When Abia wanted to field his own candidate, they did not seek the support of Senator Yochayu, despite the G5 brouhaha. So they talk, they communicate. It's just one man, and the fear of one man. All the other governors were mortified about Wike that they cannot even take the look. When you speak to some of these guys privately, what they say is different.
I recall that former Governor Samuel Otom was as vocal as Wike on this matter. Where does he come in all this?
I don't know, but I knew that some of them today must be regretting ever following him like that.
Well, what happens to the PDP after the presidential elections, petitions, court?
If we win, you will see.
If you don't.
No, I don't. I will never.
It could go either way.
It doesn't matter. I am an optimist. I'm not going to be pessimistic about this. I see no reason why there are too many accounts on which we can win. Too many. The lawyers were very clever. And they were able, unlike before, when they will pursue, let's go and recount, let's go and do forensic, investigation, let's do this and that. No, this time they were more technical and they made better use of their time. Because, there's no time to be pursuing this case for 2 years, 3 years. You must finish it quickly.
So everything points
to the Supreme Court. Everything points to the fact that this time around, there are too many. In fact, we have better chance than any other party.
Let me ask you this question, just to wrap up this conversation on the PDP and the former Rivers State Governor, Nyesom Wike. You want him out of the party. If he joins
No, that's a personal view.
Yeah, I said you want him out of it.
No, I said if you ask me, would I discipline him? Of course, in your company.
So you don't want him out of the party?
In Channels TV, you go to Channels tomorrow and abuse your chairman.
No, I'm asking
and
you.
Attack
I'm asking
your colleagues.
Now, as it stands now.
And see what will happen
Do you want him out of the party or do you want a reconciliation?
No, I think it's past the stage of reconciliation. He has crossed the Rubicon. He's already with APC. He can say anything that is still with the party. The idea is to keep pressing the neck of the party while he's riding high with APC. The kind of juicy portfolios that he's been able to arrange in APC, he can't tell me what will he be doing. He doesn't need PDP again. He's gone, as far as I'm concerned. But what I'm saying is that if I had the power to discipline him, I would have done so long ago, even before now.
So if you say he's already with the PDP, with the APC, are you worried that Rivers State, which has always been a stronghold of the People's Democratic Party, yes, they won the presidential election for the APC, but you see the other elections.
Which election did they win? Are you a Supreme Court judge?
We're speaking based on results from INEC.
No, these cases are in court.
No problem, but as we stand, the man who won that election is president. So we would refer to him as such, Mr. Momodu.
I'm telling you that I'm in opposition. And we
I am a journalist.
Okay,
I will speak from an unbiased point of view.
No.
Which is, just one second, which is that the Independent National Electoral Commission results say that Rivers State won that election for the APC. But the question is not whether they did or not. The question is, you're concerned as to losing Rivers State and all time, perhaps the strongest hold of the PDP over the years to the APC. If you say that Wike is already joining the APC, are you worried or not about losing Rivers State, one of the biggest voting blocks in the country?
I said I am not, because we know very well how these things are arranged. I'm not worried. As of today, he is still in control of Rivers, and he did everything possible to put the governor there. So whatever they do with themselves, that cannot be a concern of anybody.
Let's talk about governance under the APC since May 29. I know you say that the president is dictatorial. That's something.
In quotes.
But that's something you
tendencies.
You said this. You said this even as far back as
even before the election. Yeah.
So the concern is it too early to call, because you've seen all he's done in the past 3 months, and so 100 days in office now. Before we assess his performance in 100 days, that dictatorial tendency that you claim, have you seen that play out in the past 3 months?
Oh, definitely. If I were in his shoes and I was in his party, and as close as he is to me, he's a man in the past. He used to listen to me, and I respect his brains. He is a natural when it comes to being brilliant. I would have walked into his bedroom and I would have told him, sir, you made a mistake. On day one, you were supposed to offer hope to Nigerians. On day one, you gave them grief. You don't just come on your first day in your speech. There was nothing to worry about. You can wait 1 week, 2 weeks, and say, subsidy is gone, without looking at the repercussions, immediate repercussions. Since then, Nigeria has not recovered.
No, I was...
I'm giving you, that's what I'm telling you. You don't just cancel something that has been there with a fiat. You must think well. You must have a think tank that would have... You remember the leader said that he said it just off the cuff. It wasn't part of his speech. So, for me, that was a dictatorial act. And that is why the NLC is threatening to go on strike this very Tuesday. That, for me, was one. And you can see now that he now has a super man, okay, Iron Man, Wike, in Abuja, who also, from day one in office, started threatening he will break down houses. Anybody who has worked for money will know how difficult it is to just say you will destroy a home. It is. Now, they are fighting poor people, they are fighting rich people, they are fighting on all fronts. I have not seen any general who fights on all fronts. Only a dictator who doesn't care about what happens will want to throw an entire society into chaos, because it's chaos. The suffering in Nigeria today, Lagos that used to have the busiest of roads, now virtually empty. The number of people now who send messages begging for money, not knowing that we are all managers, managing Nigeria as it is. It's not funny. So that is an example of dictatorship. I'll give you more. I've never met Bauer in my name, the EFCC guy, in my life. I've never met him. But Bauer was in the EFCC doing his job. He was appointed by a former president. And if you have any issues with him, take him to court. Why locking it down indefinitely? That for me is a sign of dictatorship. Another is Emefiele. Emefiele, we have so many agencies. We have duplications of agencies in Nigeria. You have the Special Fraud Unit. You have the CID. You have all those people. I am sad that such an elite agency, an elite squad as DSS, is always being dragged into these issues. I think it's unfortunate, because these are supposed to be the peak when it comes to intelligence gathering. But we are now trying to bring them to the level of police officers, settling disputes, arresting people, rearresting people. It's unnecessary. So if I were Tinubu, I would have saved our DSS for higher operations. We don't need what they are doing right now. It's embarrassing to us. Everywhere we go in the world, people ask us, why do your people like to act with impunity? So when Tinubu leaves power, whosoever takes over may also say, because the APC boys, anytime I complain on social media, they say, but Buhari did his own, and Jonathan did his own. So are we competing Is it the competition of tyranny? Is it the competition of dictatorship? Why can't you break away from what your predecessors did in the past that made them to fail spectacularly? That is leadership. Leadership is doing something different. But these guys, every day, they appoint ministers, whimsically, before the minister enters the Senate chamber, they've already changed your portfolio. They've moved you around. They said they won election in February. February to now. We're in September. That's almost 9 months. So in 9 months, you could not, in a country peopled by the brightest human beings on earth, you could not get a star-studded team.
You think?
No matter what you say about President Babangida,
you think
he had a star-studded team.
Where do you fault this cabinet as it is composed?
Yes.
Because I know you had said that it is worse than what former President Buhari came up with. Where do you fault this cabinet?
Anybody who can populate his cabinet with some of the worst characters that we all referred to in the past as demolishing the hopes of Nigerians, and you bring them back without blinking an eye, it is very sad and unfortunate.
Which characters are you referring to?
No, I don't talk about personalities in that form, but we all know, and this is not...
No, Chief Momodu, just 1 second. If you say...
You will see, okay, look at some of the former governors, without mentioning anybody's name. Look at it. How many former governors, if they performed well in their states at that time, will Nigeria be where it is today?
So how does this affect the policies of the government? I mean, if you look at the policies of this administration in the past 100 days, it's been struggling to address the mistake, as you put it, of the fuel subsidy removal, even though that's been very much applauded as necessary. Even your party believes that fuel subsidy should go. But the mistake of the pronouncement, specifically, let me put that out there, that they made. But the policies of the government to address that, how do you assess it?
You see, one of the many proverbs of Chief M.K. Abiola I always remember is that if you want to know if a fish is bad, smell the head. If the head is bad. You see, once you make such a fatal mistake from the beginning, you are going to struggle to the end. It's given. It's not, I have no doubt in my mind that they are going to struggle and it's going to get worse. It's like when you tell one lie, you have to tell more lies to cover up the previous lies. So, what happens is that once you start with a false start, it's going to be difficult for you to end the race well. I expected any government at this time, especially looking at the dismal performance of the previous administration. I would have expected that these people will use that to shine. You know, it's like you had a bad team. And what do? You bring in a very solid team. So from day one, people can, look, even in football, all Nigerians are coaches. They will say, Arsenal today, I'm not sure they can win this match. They didn't bring this, they didn't bring that. It's the same thing in governance. If you don't bring the right people, Nigerians can see clearly the team that they have brought right now are what I call an emergency team. They are worried. If you speak to them, they are very worried that anything can happen. There may be a rerun, there may be this, there may be that. So you can see they are rushing to, that's why they are making all those mistakes. They are rushing to fill up the gap. Now they've removed the ambassadors, so quickly fill it up. So there are people who will be everywhere. It's strategic. But in trying to be strategic, they are killing Nigeria. Look, it's only God that gives power. Trust me, if God says it to be Tinubu, nobody can remove him. If God says it to be Atiku, Atiku will get it. You understand what I'm saying? But to now want to suffocate a country by bringing all manners of people to power because you want to consolidate power, it's unfair on the country.
No, just as we round off this conversation, let's look at the situation in Africa. I know that it's a concern for everyone now, including us in Nigeria, and the reason is that Africa has always been a developing economy, struggling with democracy and trying to entrench it. And now we see coups, the military taking over. What are your thoughts on this? And perhaps try to understand the Africa from then and the Africa now, to see if we've made any development and in what regard.
It's very sad, and I've told a couple of friends, even in APC, that I miss the political leaders of the First Republic. They were not perfect, but they were not overtly ambitious to the extent that they would sell their country. They tried. Look at the caliber of Awolowo, the caliber of Tafawa Balewa, the caliber of Azikiwe, the caliber of Sardauna, and the rest of them. They were ideologues, they were intellectuals, and they were people who could represent any country very proudly, and you'll be proud of them. But look at the caliber that has descended on Nigeria. It's unfortunate, you know. And what we are saying is that we must find a way to bring on a new crop of leaders who will be able to take us back to those days when we could look at a politician as being selfless. At that time, you will know who Awolowo was a distinguished lawyer. If you speak about Ladoke Akintola, you know he was a distinguished lawyer. If you are a teacher, you are a proud teacher. But today, see even how we're struggling with ordinary to ascertain what people did before they came to power. If you ask an average Nigerian student today, just mention, I don't know, we have 40-something ministers, maybe about 45 as of now, they have more coming. Each and every one of them. Just ask any Nigerians, whether I was a student in primary, secondary school in Ife, I knew virtually almost every minister in Nigeria. I knew even commissioners in some states. Today, if you ask me to name the 45 ministers and I'm a journalist, I'm sorry, I won't be able to name them. To make it worse, if you ask me to tell you what they did before they became minister, I will struggle more. You can't do that to a country. In a country of 200 million people, I've been to a few countries in the world. I'm sure maybe over 60 on 5 continents. There is no country I've been to that I did not meet Nigerians at the top doing great things. And as I'm wondering, if I were the president today, one of the first things I would have declared is to turn the Southeast to Silicon Valley. I've said this repeatedly. Even in Andikano, did a broadcast in which he said this is the only person making sense to him in Nigeria. That if what Dele suggested, the government did it, there will be nobody asking for Biafra. It's very easy. Some of the problems of Nigeria can be tackled if you have the political will and the common sense to know that power belongs to God. But because you want to block other competitors, you don't want them to gain power, then you start doing silly things. It's not worth it.
You know, they say that problems created by politicians cannot be solved by politicians. And people who say that point to the situation in Africa now and wonder that where we are is because the political class has chosen to enrich itself than the people. So where do we go from here?
Politicians had always enriched themselves.
And impoverished the people.
Yeah, it's because they don't know the limit. And that's why people like us risk our comfort zone. To speak, I don't need to get involved in politics in Nigeria. I can mind my business. But look, I was a pioneer jambite in 1978. That was the year of the Ali must go. Since then till now, I've been involved in one protest or the other because I love my country. The 3 years I spent in exile, it was hell. You understand? So I began to see the good in my country, and that good is what the politicians want to take away. Let me tell you, if they give you and I a level playing field in this country, there is nothing we cannot achieve. Nigeria is God's own country, but a few people have grabbed us, grabbed our neck, and they are not ready to leave it because of what?
Yeah, that's why you joined politics, isn't it?
Exactly. But you can see all the difficulties and all the challenges, and that's why some people can boast that we are in control because they did what we have.
But what's the state of a political ambition?
Of
your political ambition.
What
is the state now?
You know me, I shoot straight. I don't deceive myself. I told Governor Tambuwa the other time, I said, unless you guys dash me a ticket, there is no way. I have no chance.
Why? Why is that?
What people have to do to make money, the kind of money that will make people so confident that nobody can defeat them. I can't do it.
Are you talking about the presidential level?
Every level. I can't go back to any other level. That's me.
You can't be governor?
No. I'm never at 63.
You're too big to be a governor.
I'm not too big to be a governor. I look at my age. By now I should be retiring. What am I? So I will not go and start.
I mean, it's service to the people, isn't it?
No.
You're not too old to serve.
No, service to the people is easier for you to get an appointment. But even to be a governor, do you know what it takes to be? Even to be a House of Assembly member today, it's not that simple. And let me tell you, I'm racing against time. I number my days as instructed by the Holy Book, the Bible. If I'm lucky to get to 80, I have less than 17 years. Do you think I'm going to waste my time like some people do? If you have the facilities, do you understand? To propel you, fine. But I don't have it, and I can't start it now. I'm 63.
So is that goodbye to politics?
It's not goodbye to politics. It's goodbye to elections.
No, it's goodbye to your political ambition.
To my election. Look, God works in mysterious. If God says I'll be president of Nigeria, nothing can stop it.
So you're saying as it stands now, you're no longer
Even Buhari gave up. Even Buhari gave up.
So you're giving up now until there's an intervention.
Trust me. God knows I've offered myself. I offered myself so that in the future, my children and my grandchildren will not say, oh, Daddy, what happened? What were you doing when others were doing it? I've tried twice. I was a candidate in 2011. I was an aspirant last year. It does not matter to me. For me, politics is not a matter of life and death. It's a matter of principle.
But seeing what you've seen in trying to run for office, is this how we will continue? Or is there something that can be done?
Look, you were just talking, there are all kinds of interventions that can happen. You see, when God has been very kind to you, sometimes you think you are God. I am telling you, anything can happen to anybody on earth. Momodu Buhari gave up on his own ambition. They even wrote somewhere that he wept. But when it was God's time, God brought him, and we saw his performance, and we leave that judgment to posterity. So, whoever is there today, the court can decide tomorrow that you got there through foul and unfair means. It's not within my power. But personally, that I'm struggling to feed myself and my family, I will now go and begin to run again. I've passed that stage. I want to begin to work. I'm setting up a library in Ibadan. I'm already winding down. I'm planning my future, my retirement. People don't retire in Nigeria. Nigeria is a place where people just want to be in power forever. So I'm not one of those. My library is my focus. And when the time comes, the channels will be, I like your program on books. I like, so we will come to channels and beg you to come and support my library. I want to make sure that the younger ones, we can encourage them to have education. I lost my father at the age of 13. My mom was a poor, unlettered woman, but the only thing that set me free was education. So I'm going to invest the little I have in educating as many people as I can afford.
That's great. I'd like to say thank you, but before I go, you're from Edo State. even though there are those who think you are from Ife. So let me ask you this question. Governor and the deputy governor, the elections, the Edo State governorship election will soon come up. Are you concerned about what's happening here?
Hey, again, I'm not speaking for PDP or anybody. I'm speaking for myself and as someone from the state. It's unfortunate. If I have the chance, I'll speak to both of them. Once upon a time, you worked perfectly together. I mean, I remember when the governor, Obaseki, was trying to have his re-election. Everybody fought, the comrade tribal, that, you are Oshomode's guy. He was loyal. And so whatever, there is nothing I can forgive. That's where I'm different.
This is beyond forgiveness. Philip Shaibu wants to be governor. Obaseki doesn't think so.
So that's why I said, I don't see why he cannot be governor. If he doesn't want him, that's fine. He will support his candidate, but they don't have to fight and tear themselves apart in public. That is where I stand. And I hope that it is not too late for them to work together. There is nothing wrong. Everybody should be ambitious in life.
Absolutely.
As long as it doesn't kill any other person. That's all.
Absolutely. Chief Dele Momodu, I'd like to thank you very much for your time on Political Paradigm.
No, you were too hot for me.
I don't think so.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
I've been speaking with Chief Dele Momodu. He is a former presidential aspirant, and I'd like to leave it at that. Thank you very much for your time as well. This is Political Paradigm. Remember, you can catch this episode and others by simply going to YouTube and searching Political Paradigm or go to channelstv.com. I'm Terry Ikumi. Goodbye.